Hi guys, today I'm going to show you my January 2022 TBR. First TBR of the year, oh my goodness. I've officially been on BookTube for a year at this point. My first TBR ever was for January of 2021, so wow, what a moment. So one of my goals for 2022 reading is to kind of clear up the backlist. I have a lot of books on my TBR that I've just had forever, and I don't have all of my actual physical TBR logged, so I'm going to be referring to my Goodreads want to read list. Because once I became more active on Goodreads, I was, adding things to that list and going out and buying a lot of those books. I'm going to start off with January reading two of the oldest books on my Goodreads not TBR, want to read list. Why do they call it a WTR when no one else does? The oldest book on there currently is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, which is not surprising given the popularity of this book. I don't know when exactly I found out about it, but I'm not surprised this has been hanging out on my want to read list for a while. This, I think like the year before, was super popular, and it still is pretty popular. I see people talking about this book on BookTube still, especially where Alex Michaelides just came out with The Maidens this past year, which I have read, and I did not love that one, so I'm a little hesitant about getting into this one, but I've had it forever, and I either need to, read it and put it on my bookshelf or read it and get rid of it, so I am going to be picking this one up in January. This follows a young woman, or not a young woman, she's a woman, Alicia, who murders her husband allegedly and then refuses to say anything. So I believe she's like committed to a mental hospital or something. Maybe not a mental hospital. Are those still around anymore, really? But she becomes like this huge phenomenon. Like this case just blows up, and a criminal psychotherapist named Theo is captivated by her story and really wants to find out why she won't speak. And he starts sitting down with her and trying to interview her. I've heard this book has a crazy twist in it, so I am intrigued. I can usually fly through a thriller if it's like really captivating, so I hope this one is, especially given its popularity and how much people still talk about this one. And yeah, so getting to this one, getting it out of the way. Hopefully I like it, but we'll see. The second oldest book on my TBR is A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCreight, another thriller mystery. And this one, I believe, has more to do with like domestic abuse. I'm not sure. Okay, so it's a prosecutor who gets a call from a friend whose wife has been found dead at the bottom of the stairs in their Brooklyn brownstone, and her friend is the primary suspect. It's kind of like a breakdown of like their marriage and sort of the fact that her friend Zach and his wife seemed like a happy couple on the surface, but there were darker things lying underneath. I've heard this is more of like a courtroom kind of thriller procedural, so I'm interested. I like movies like that. I don't think I've read a book that's kind of has that tone before though, so I'm curious. This book only came out last year. Interesting. I thought this was older for some reason, May 2020. But yeah, so again, this has been hanging out on my Goodreads want to read list for a while. I've had the physical book for a really long time and it's just been sitting on my shelf. And I think part of that with this and The Silent Patient is I haven't really super been in like a thriller mystery kind of mood lately. It's been very fantasy sort of mood reading for me. But I am excited to finally get to both of these. Hopefully I like them. But if I don't, then it'll be a good chance to get rid of these because I've had them for so long. Next up, I want to finish up the Poppy War series with The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I literally just finished The Dragon Republic and I really liked it. When I finished the Poppy War, I felt so like hollow and drained. I really needed a couple months in between book one and book two. And I didn't quite feel that way at the end of book two. Like, stuff happened that was really big and again had a very similar sort of like punch in the gut feeling, but I am feeling a little bit less dead inside, so I would like to jump right into this and finish this series up. My best friend read it several months ago and she's been dying for me to finally finish it so we can talk about it. I am really excited to see how this series wraps up. It handles really big themes revolving around war and sort of post-war conflict. Their country in this is sort of just a mess after a what is referred to as the Poppy War, then a civil war that follows sort of immediately after. And Rin, the main character, is a shaman who can call fire, who's found herself sort of as the main player in both of these wars. And again, the country is sort of in shambles, and she's trying to find her place in it. It's so good. It will hurt you, but it's so good. So I literally have no idea where the story's gonna go at this point. So I'm really excited again to see how it wraps up. I've heard it's a really good ending, so I am excited to finally finish this series. Another series I would like to continue in January is Kingdom of the Curse. This is a sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked. I've been kind of hanging on to this one for a couple months. I believe I picked it up like right when it came out with the intention of reading it in October because it has to do with demons and magic, so it felt like a good sort of October-y read. But at this point, I need to get to it. I had a lot of spooky reads to get to in October, and this one just sort of fell to the wayside. But I am really excited to jump back into this world. We follow a character named Amelia, who's a witch in Italy, and at the beginning of the first book, she finds her twin sister brutally murdered, and she ends up accidentally summoning a prince of hell, Wrath, to help her get to the bottom of what the heck happened to her sister. And the end of that book was like a huge cliffhanger, so I'm really excited to see how the story continues in this one. I believe it takes place more in hell than the first book did. She's sort of navigating the courts of all the different princes, and I've heard this one is a little bit more, not quite adult in theme, but more mature than the previous book was, so I'm curious to see what happens. And I really like the dynamic between our main character and the love interest Wrath. I think they have really funny banter, and I'm excited to see that continue. Next up is a book I'm hoping to buddy read with Stephanie, and that is Jadefire Gold by June C.L. Tan. This is the gorgeous Fairy Loot edition. It's the UK cover, and it's got these really pretty sprayed and stenciled edges. I absolutely adore this. She recently just picked up the US edition herself, so I have a feeling this is going to be our next buddy read, so I'm slipping it into my January TBR. I'm really excited about this one. It has to do with an exiled prince and I believe a peasant girl with sort of mysterious abilities. I've heard the dynamic is very much like Zuko Katara, which is like, that's all I need to pick up a book, really. And yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I think Stephanie will probably like it as well. So hoping to pick this one up in January. In 2020, I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and that was my first V.E. Schwab book, and absolutely fell in love with it. So in the beginning of 2021, I picked up Vicious and later Vengeful, which is part of parts 1 and 2 of the Villains series, also by V.E. Schwab, and also really liked it. So I think it's finally time to pick up A Darker Shade of Magic. This is part 1 of a trilogy that follows a character named Kel, I believe, and he travels between sort of these alternate versions of London. There's Red London, there's Black London, there's White London, and then there's Gray London. Some of these realities have magic, others don't, or others kind of lie in between. I'm not quite sure what propels him to travel through these. I think he's a smuggler. Okay, that makes sense. And there's also a character named Lila Bard, who I think is like a pirate. And I've just heard such great things about this series, and I've literally loved every single thing I've picked up by V.E. Schwab so far, so I'm sure I'm gonna love this. I've heard this is more of like a slow burn fantasy, which I'm totally fine with. Especially for winter, I find that very like cozy and atmospheric, so I'm very much looking forward to this. And I know this has a really huge, like, passionate fan base, so I have a feeling I'm really gonna love this. I've had all 3 books in this series for quite some time now. I've been kind of intimidated by it. I don't know why, but I'm excited to finally jump into this, and I think sort of the start of the new year is a great sort of excuse to pick this up, because I picked up Vicious around the same time last year, so I think it's just a good time of year to read V.E. Schwab. I don't know. But this one just called out to me. And yeah, that wraps up my official January of 2022 TBR. I am recording this before Christmas, so these plans might fly out the window with, depending on what I get for Christmas, so we'll see. But I'm really excited. I really do hope to get to all of these. These are all books that I've been excited to read for quite some time. The new year has so much potential for new like books and reading and stuff, and I think the way you start off the year can really set the tone for the rest of the year, and these are all books that I think would be a great way to start off the 2022 reading year. Let me know down in the comments below, what are you planning to read in the first month of the year? I'd love to know. What are your goals, your reading goals for the year? It doesn't have to be a number of books, but it certainly can be. Are you hoping to read more genres outside of your comfort zone? Are you hoping to read certain authors? Please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to follow my Goodreads down below. I will be posting my 2022 reading goal sort of whenever the Goodreads gives the option to do that. Feel free to friend me on there. I would love to have you and see what books you're reading. Also, feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and have a wonderful day and have a wonderful start to the new year. Bye.